like you're the wrong gender, or that that you should be another gender, and then you have society telling you, well, you're crazy to feel that way, and you have
True.
the government's trying to pass laws where you can't take a piss where you want to, and it's like it'd be really easy to like be depressed over that and to like
Do you think that there all right, so we agree transgender is a thing, clearly it's a thing, but this is another form, another thing in the LGBT community. So we know that there are transgender people, there are people who live a life transgender that used to be this. At what point do we look at a kid and go, oh, my son is really a girl, or vice versa?
I have no clue. I mean, I don't know if like. Again, I don't really, and I don't know enough transgender people. Like, I'm not close enough to anyone that's transgender.
I know one.
I know, like the ones I know, like I know very like peripherally, like one of my old professors from Friends is transgender, but like, and haven't talked to her since, or him, I guess, since she's he's transitioned. See, that's the other thing. You always get hung up on it.
And you become an evil person very quickly.
And you're trying to do it right. Well, like Patton Oswalt has that whole bit about like how the liberals need to slow down on changing terminology because he can't like keep up. And he goes, I'm more liberal than anybody, and like I can't keep up with it, and I'm always saying the wrong thing, gets people pissed off because I'm using the term from 6 months ago to describe somebody. But like, I think the liberally minded people, that's the thing I've noticed a lot, is that like we just spend so much time arguing amongst each other about like all these little subdivision, like we're so into subdividing ourselves. Like now there's like 40 different genders, like well I'm or like you start getting into that like. Well, see,
I asked that question about the kid is because I'm not sure about you two at least, but I think a lot of kids, little boys, have at some point put on their sister or mom's heels and just.
Oh, there was a point when I was a kid where you would have thought I was gay.
But I wouldn't even say gay as much as like, okay, so you do this or this is done.
Yeah.
Then the parent, a more caring parent or today or progressive parent, could easily go, oh, this is a first sign. When it's just. He's just throwing the heels because mommy throwing heels, and you got the whole Freudian thing there too.
Yeah, I mean, like I would like when I was a little kid, I would do stupid stuff like put a wig on and because it's funny, because like I'd get a laugh out of it, or like it was never like because I felt anything. It was never like anything like that. It was always and I was always like a scrawny little kind of like I was a little effeminate, probably a little bit as a kid. I had like a squeaky voice. So
now, imagine at that point that they decided that now we're going to just start treating Dustin like the niece.
Like mom starts buying me dresses or like.
Yeah, I mean they look at this as like, okay, maybe we need to start treating.
Well, I don't know. I don't know like if that's really. I have no clue.
I think that's why the conversation that's why I feel like it's so new that we probably shouldn't just judge people for feeling a certain way about that opinion. We still need. There's a lot of education that needs to be done, but I think there's a lot of
I think the problem though too is a lot of parents think that they have an influence on those things and they don't. You know what I mean? Like. Oh, if I feed my kid this food, he'll turn gay. Or if I make, if I listen, like he listens to this kind of music, he'll start worshiping Satan or whatever. It's like I don't think there's like that much effect. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that you can't like turn your kid gay or transgender. They're either they are or they're not.
I may get killed for it, but I kind of think that I would if it was me, and let's say my child grew up at some point decided they want to be transgender, I think it's still my responsibility to treat them I don't know what that particular term is, their birth gender. until they can make that own decision for themselves.
Well, yeah, I think that's really the only way you could do it is they have to make that.
The Learning Channel will argue otherwise. They will put any TLC has shows where like this little boy was like 4 or 5, and they're just like, well, he's gonna start treating him like a girl because he said he was a girl one day. I'm like, no, he's a child. He has no.
I think the problem is when you're a kid, like there's days where you think you're a dinosaur. You know, I mean, like kids have like a weird sense of reality. You know, and I don't know if that's a decision. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I don't know if the kids are equipped to understand what's going on.
Like my son is Batman, right? So we give him a cape, we do all the stuff to make him have fun with Batman, and then the day that he decides that he wants to swing across the room, like, okay, look, you are not Batman. Like I get it, I understand you're Batman.
You're just wearing a damn costume.
And I know it sounds like shit to be like, a transgender or a kid saying he's a girl is in a costume, but as the responsible person in the room, until I can see something that is very clear pinpoint that says that I need to starting the treatment and drugs and whatever it is to transition, I'm not treating my son like a girl because one day he woke up and said, I think I'm a girl because he walked around in heels. TLC will put on about 3 or 4 shows with parents that do that, and I would argue that's child abuse.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's an adult decision to make. I kind of feel like, yeah, it's tough. Well, I mean, like Angelina Jolie, I think one of her kids, she's claimed as like transgender.
Got a bunch of them.
Like one of her kids, I think it's one of her actual biological kids.
Chaz Bono.
I think it's her daughter that identifies as a boy. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what age that you take it seriously, or if you.
But
yeah.
I think because we can't do that, I think that's why you have to people, extreme liberal, I would say, or whatever, has to like, yo, chill. Just chill. We're trying to figure this shit out. Like it's not.
Well, it's just like all the Bernie supporters, because I was a Bernie guy. And
I was Hillary through and through.
But I was one of those people that I would have been totally fine with Hillary, but then Bernie comes along. I'm like, well, okay, I'd rather have Bernie than Hillary, But then once my option was Hillary, I wasn't like, fuck this. I was like, well, I guess Hillary's the choice if she's way closer to where I am politically than the other guy is. So it's like, to me, it's like, I don't understand the people who are like, well, I'm not going to vote for Hillary. Like that's a liberal thing where they'll vote, I guess, there's people that voted Johnson or voted, Stein or whatever, but to me, I still felt like Hillary was at that point, you're like, there's no chance of these 2 people winning, and there's a very good chance of the Republican side winning. So to me, there's that kind of gamble of,
that gamble wasn't worth it for me.
Yeah, it wasn't worth. I mean, like if somebody would, if McCain was running, or somebody was a little more Kucinich, or somebody was a little more reasonable. Yeah. I'd say, okay, you can make your statement. There's, if the Republicans won, then it wouldn't be that bad. If somebody more
I had a conversation with a Trump supporter during the election season, and he was complaining that I just wish Trump would just clean it up just a little bit more. And I said I was voting for Hillary, and that's the direction I was going. I also always say that I'm independent, but he asked me why. I said, well, let me ask you this, and this was always my argument when someone was perplexed by the idea of me voting for Hillary. If you got a job, if you had a guy who had a job at a plant, let's say, and he worked on the floor level of the plant, then he worked his way up to supervisor, and then he gets transferred to another. Well, he loses that job, goes to another job for another corporation, relatively equal and equal to where they were before, and they learn this new job, and they're like, they know everything about industrial whatever the fucks. and then there's a guy who's used to sell cars. Do you really have to think that hard who needs that next job as president over, I might say president, but VP or whatever it is over this industry? Like, to be that qualified and then say, nah, I want to go with, you know, someone who's not even have a clear good chance. Like, to me, that was ridiculous. And I use this example right now. I had a better one then because I was.
No, I hear you. No, I get it. Well, I think there's that whole idea of like Trump appealed to certain people because they saw him as an outsider, and they think, okay, we need some guy that's like that isn't a politician to come in and shake it up. And it's like, but the problem is it's like, well, yeah, he's not a politician. A politician understands what the fucking laws are.
They understand
He
policy.
understands the economy. He understands policy. He understands the intricacies of how, the government works and who is accountable and what, it's very complicated. And to say, oh, we'll just bring in this guy who like sells steak and real estate.
Yeah, I want an outsider to work on my heart, so I get an accountant. Like, no, you still need someone who understands how this works. Now, this is where I get perplexed about it, is because now we see that he doesn't really know how it works.
Well,
and they're still with him.
Well, it's just like Ben Carson, when Ben Carson's like he gets offered, what was it he was originally offered?
Was it Secretary of State or something like that? It was some high level.
And he was like, well, I'm not qualified. I don't know how to do that. Yeah. You're like, dude, you're running for fucking president. Like, you're running for like the guy that had the even more complicated job than you. Like you're saying that you can't do the easier job.
All right.
How's that?
Sorry, you got stuck here.
Oh no, you're good.
Is it?